Hello and welcome to my Facebook Live today. I've actually just decided on the spur of the moment to do my podcast recording, which I was doing today in my booth, to do it as a Facebook Live so that more of you get to hear the information that I want to share. I'm aware that lots of my people who follow me on Facebook or in my group don't necessarily listen to my podcast. So I decided this was a nice way to raise a bit of awareness and also potentially for you to bring up any questions or thoughts on what I'm sharing today. So if you're watching live or if you're watching on a replay later, please give me a thumbs up or a hashtag replay so that I know that you've listened and engaged, and tell me what you think. So today I'm talking about I'm going to do an official podcast launch so that we can then edit it a little bit later. Hello and welcome to the Inspiring Success Club podcast. My name is Anna Parker-Naples and I am a success coach. I help people to unlock parts of their lives where they feel stuck and trapped and help them to feel a lot happier, more fulfilled. And actually what happens then is they're able to create more success in their lives professionally, creatively and personally. So that's a big mission I have in life, and I know that it works because I've seen it happen time and time again. So today I'm talking about wellness and health, and what you put in is what you get out. So we all know, don't we, that we should be eating well, we should be drinking lots of water, we should be cutting down on the alcohol, we should be cutting down on booze and whatever else. But how easy is it to actually do that in daily life? It is very tempting to veer off the course, take on too much sugar, eat loads of carbs, pile on the pounds and not look after ourselves. And the net effect is that we then feel sluggish. And when we're feeling sluggish, the rest of our life starts to suffer. So I know for myself that if I'm not eating well, perhaps I go to those comfort foods for whatever reason, perhaps because I'm busy, perhaps because I'm stressed, perhaps because it just makes me feel good to have those bars of chocolate. If you're then not actually consciously on the flip side, making sure you have lots of nutrients, lots of vegetables, lots of fruit, and getting all your vitamins in, over a period of time, you just feel rubbish. And when you feel rubbish in your body, you are less mentally alert, you feel much more emotional, you're more sensitive to stress, you're more prone to mental health issues, more prone to anxiety. And those things are big issues. And we all know that looking after our bodies is a simple way to getting back in balance, and yet sometimes it can be really difficult. The same goes for sleep. We all know that having regular amounts of sleep and a lot of sleep can help us. Having those fixed routines where we go to bed and what time we get up in the morning, we know that that can give our life so much more ease. And yet we find ourselves staying up late, watching rubbish on our phones, watching TV, or just finding that we find tasks to do late at night that actually right there in that moment we think have to get done, and they don't. Or we do things like we'll binge sleep at the weekends instead of staying to a fixed routine and allowing our bodies a certain amount of sleep every night. Instead we binge at the weekend, which in itself can have other effects on your mental well-being. The other thing we often do is we'll use all sorts of chemicals in our washing and in our cleaning of our homes. So we are taking in levels of toxin into our body, a level of toxicity that is just not good for us. We all know that there's a real awakening to the fact that we're essentially poisoning ourselves. That's the reason why there are so many awful diseases that have happened, that have developed over recent decades. And I think we're just waking up to the fact that we have to do something about it. What you put into your body means that what you put out is the result that you get. That's how you feel, the kind of energy you're able to give to the rest of your life, and the quality of the focus you're able to give the things that are important to you. So I know as well that the way you think can massively affect your health. And I never used to really believe that this was true until 8 years ago, when I was told that I potentially wouldn't walk again. And when the doctor said that to me, I took that on as fact, because this was a doctor telling me something. And doctors have a lot of power. And I went away, I did all the panicking about what that meant for my life. what I wasn't going to be able to do, how stuck I was, how much pain I was in. And I would find myself going on a loop talking about how much pain I was in and the absolute fear driven belief that I couldn't recover, because that's essentially what was being given to me. And actually, it wasn't true. It wasn't true that I couldn't recover. And once someone showed me by working with an NLP practitioner, which is what I now do for other people, once the NLP practitioner threw up to me how often I was saying how bad I felt, how awful I felt, how stuck I was, and how my life was essentially over because I was so limited, once he pointed out the ramifications for that upon the rest of my life, it hugely empowered me to start to change my language, change my thoughts, change my behavior. So instead of constantly thinking about how limited I was, it challenged me to start, one, noticing I was saying those things, but two, it enabled me to start finding opportunities to have the things I wanted in my life. So even if I was going to be disabled, was it true that I couldn't look after my children the way I wanted? Was it true I couldn't be active? Was it true that I couldn't be a creative professional performer? Now, you're actually now, if you're watching me on Facebook Live, you'll know I'm in my studio, which was converted from an airing cupboard. And this studio was originally created for me because I was in a wheelchair. And this space actually is an indication to me that when you start looking for possibilities and opportunities, they are there. Because this space, because I started looking for ways that I could have my dreams, I could be a creative performer, I could have an incredible income, I could be validated as a professional, even if I was forever in a wheelchair. That's what this room, this studio represents to me, because it made me, it was my first opportunity that I saw. And it's massively changed my life. But that was because I started looking at how I was thinking about my body. And what was interesting was that instead of tapping into all the things that I was unhappy about with my body, particularly my pain and disability, I started looking at all the things that were right with it, all the things that I could do to make it better, how I could eat better, how I could sleep better, how I could do the exercises I needed to do, the physiotherapy, to start building up my muscle strength, but also how I could change my language to quickly show me that actually change was possible. And even though a doctor had said something very casually about me potentially not being able to walk, actually, he didn't know my body. I knew my body. I'm the only one who's experienced my body. And what happens if you start to believe that potentially you could heal? What's interesting is recently I've been at Hay House Publishers on a course with some amazing self-help gurus. And the company was actually put together by Louise Hay, who sadly died a few years ago. But she wrote the very famous book, Heal Your Life, and or Heal Your Body. I can't remember the title. That's rubbish. I should have looked that up before I started. It's a hugely empowering book by Louise Hay. It's Heal Your Something. Anyway, she talks about the power of thought over your body, how you can heal yourself. And that's not wishful thinking. That's understanding the psychology of what goes on in your mind. So yeah, I believed that I couldn't heal myself because a doctor told me I couldn't, and that meant that I was stuck. Actually, there were many, many things I could do to improve my physicality. Eating, sleeping, drinking lots and lots of water, and changing my thoughts consciously about my disability, about my pain, about how stuck I felt. And I'm telling you, if I can do it, I know that absolutely anyone can. So I'd really recommend, if you are interested in anything to do with toxicity, having a look at using essential oils. I tend to use doTERRA essential oils because they are certified pure. We use them now to clean our home. We use them to we use them in the air. So instead of spraying a can of something to make the air fresh, we use a steam diffuser to diffuse oil into the air, so it smells nice, gets rid of all of the doggy smells in our house. But also we're then breathing in something that can help our body be well, help our body with our health, depending on what oils we use. And those things can be as much for emotional stability as well as improving physical ailments, such as using things for certain oils for a respiratory condition, or perhaps a cold or a cough, things that are smelling oils that are for anti-inflammatory purposes. We can do that in our air. Now, when I look at how beneficial essential oils can be from you just breathing them in, and then I think about the fumes that come off certain cleaning products that we've been using in our home for years, actually makes me a little bit, I guess glad that I've come to this point of awareness of what we've been filling our body with, even down to what we wash our clothes with, the fabric conditioner that we use on our bedding. Actually, as we sleep in those sheets every night, what is that doing to our body? So really have a look at essential oils. I actually have a link if anyone would like some start samples. I'll pop that link under this podcast and this live when I've finished, so I can send you a few of my favorite ones. Water. We all know that water makes a huge difference. We are made up of water. If we don't get enough into our body, then essentially we are dehydrating ourselves. And that means we're not functioning at optimum level. So not only does that affect your level of alertness, it affects your skin, it affects all of your functions, all of your organs, because they're not working at optimum level. And it's a simple, easy way to improve your life and improve how switched on you feel. Sleep. If you are not getting enough sleep, start looking at, instead of binging at the weekend and trying to get all your sleep done then, how can you have better sleep hygiene? Perhaps it's about taking your phone out of your bedroom. Perhaps it's about making sure you don't have screen time for an hour before you go to bed. Maybe it's about changing the lighting in your room. Maybe it's about making your bedroom a space you only go into when you're going to sleep. But finding a way to create sleep as a much better routine will benefit your life in so many ways. And finally, really question your thoughts about your body and your health and what you are capable of, because I am literally living, walking proof that you can recover no matter what's going on in your life. Or if you don't recover, you can manage how you feel about it and therefore find a lot more ease with your health. So that is it from me for today. It's just a short podcast episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you are interested in a mindful eating program, I'm able to put up a link for that too. We also have connections with an exercise program that I'll be putting beneath this podcast. And finally, if you want to get some essential oils, I am able to send those to you if you are interested in exploring having less toxicity and more ways to benefit your health and wellness, so that you have optimum function for your brain, so you can go out and achieve and smash all the things that you want to in your life. That's it from me. Take care.